Alright, what is up, PvE family? It's your boy PvE Crick God back at it again with another video. Today we've got controversial, I don't know what to call it. Video about a deck that is actually very interesting. So if you play Dragon Ball Super and you've been keeping up with BT21, you've heard about this. You've heard about Cell. You've seen the erratas. You've seen everybody complain about how weak it is. Blah blah blah. It's trash. Well, this video is actually to tell you that it's not. Now that's gonna be hard to believe, of course, seeing that you can only play pretty much like one type of card in the deck. But hopefully by the end of this video, I can teach you guys a little bit about this deck. And after I finish the deck explanation, I'll also try to have, just a quick sequence just to see how the deck draws. And then in a future video, I did have a friend from Discord from, there's a Scrub Game Locals I play every week. I'll probably be skipping this week, but I played those, and he streams and he recorded a couple of the games that I played. I played against him, and then he also spectated one of my other games. So I've got that footage for you guys. I'll try to get it and just post it so that you guys can see how the deck works. But yeah, I just want to talk about this deck. I've been very surprised by it. This again, this is just gonna be. I'll try not to edit this too much. I just want this to be like a long informational, just slow, methodical video so that everybody can understand this the best possible. So far, I've played 15 games with this. I've played all last week. I played Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Scrub Games locals, and then I played locals on actual locals on Sunday. And out of those 15 games, I have a 66% win rate. I've won 10 of them. And really, a couple of my losses have been to like limit testing, or just me being a dumbass. But it just feels really good, man. And it is definitely one of those decks that I'm gonna have to explain before you can understand it, or that you're gonna have to play yourself before you can understand it. But this is a list I just tweaked it actually. This is like the next thing I'm gonna play, and it just feels good, man. So there's no real engine to this deck. This is another thing I want to talk about this deck that I really like. Another thing that I like is there's no, people will ask me, oh, what's your win con? How do you win? And I'll talk about it a little more in depth later. But there's no like there's not a win con. There's not like a specific way to win. You're not really you're just kind of defending, and that's part of it's because of a specific reason that I actually realized recently. So stop delaying here. Let's just get into the cards and I'll explain it as I go. So here's the errata. First of all, if you happen to not know what it is, you can only play green android battle cards in this leader. You also notice that I don't have Ginger Town in the deck, so that is the next thing I should talk about here, I guess. Yeah. So you'll notice that I don't have a Ginger Town. What does Ginger Town do? Basically, if you don't know what it does, it basically locks you out of these extra card negates. You cannot use extra card negates. You play like a token engine that helps you like be a 15k on the back as well. Out of the games I tested, I realized that all I'm really losing without Ginger Town is like a good attacker and a free negate, which I replaced with negates. They might not be free. I mean, Homicidal's technically free, as we know, but Ginger Town wasn't giving me enough value to justify having it and losing extra card counters, and that's also relevant for like the side that'll come in later. But basically, it just doesn't give you enough value to warrant running it, I think. And you can create a bit more deck space with putting in some other stuff. And you still have a really good way to awaken here with that 3-drop cell you guys see on the list that we'll get to later. Or probably right now, actually, because we have to talk about Impending Crisis. But yeah, you activate main, switch it to rest mode. You have, for this effect, just if you don't know, you have to reveal what card you are putting at the bottom of your deck because it specifies a type. So you show your opponent a green android, bottom deck a draw 2. Then when your life is at 5 or less, or you have a 3-drop cell in play, which is unfortunately only this one. There's another one, but there's a ruling right now that basically makes us not be able to play it. But yeah, I don't really want to talk about that one. But you can have this guy on play, and then you play these two guys on their board, which basically say he makes your opponent discard 1, and you draw 1. So basically, it's a discard 2 on awaken, which is really solid. Then you can't Z awaken until you have these two guys under, basically. In this deck, you're only going to be at 10k, but you only have to defend a 10k for one turn, so it's not like terrible. This entire effect is irrelevant because we're not using the engine, and then you draw one and put one under when you swing with the leader. It's really simple. We'll get to the Z leaders later, as they're part of the Z deck. Then, I mean, yeah, again, there's no like real engine, so we'll just talk about it one-on-one. So, Pending Crisis, this card's amazing. I love this guy. When we were trying to run Ginger Town, this is obviously like the only other negate you could really play in this leader. So this was always a 4 of, and I'll stay a 4 of because of the 3-drop cell. So basically you play him, and then you dump one from deck. And that matters because this guy can only be played from drop. So it's really good early. The other 17 that you have, so you can only play this guy if you have 17s on your board. Pay 1, play from drop, your opponent discards 1. The auto is irrelevant. I actually took the card out that... I had one of, like... there was a 3-drop Android 18 that's barrier crit, but I literally, like... I never had it, I never used it, it was never relevant in those 15 games, so I kind of just took it out. It wasn't doing anything. But yeah, these are our two 17s. This guy's also really good because he's just a barrier 1-drop, so he's very likely to just sit there and allow you to loop your cell, like, repeatedly over and over again. He's just a really good searcher too. Top 5 for Android 6 or less. Searches like literally any battle card in this deck. Literally any battle card in this deck, it searches. Like how amazing is that? That's fucking awesome. And he's barrier, so he's like not easily removed for you to loop this every turn. So it's like this card's just really good because you start playing it every turn, and it stacks up. I mean, it's gonna turn into like a discard 4/5. People citing stuff like Deborah and whatnot is not gonna do very much because you're doing it passively. It's like a part of your deck. I'm not going out of my way to make you discard. So if you are committing your energy to like play Deborah +1, which is it's fine, but that's gonna give me an advantage in the long run because I thrive the later I go, and I have a lot of defense. So Deborah isn't really doing very much. One of the games I played was against Majin with like the Meister, so he had like a 16 card hand. That was one of the games I lost to limit testing. I let him swing with leader. He went to like 135, and I had like 5-6 dead cards in my hand. Not really many of these Kamehamehas, which are basically 15k combos. We'll get to them, and I still almost out comboed it. So, like having a big hand against this deck, it doesn't really matter because your main combos are 15s. Most people will only have what 10ks, like the super combos on their deck to like purposely combo them. So this is why I realized that this deck is insanely tanky. Plus you have a 20k Z leader, so it's disgustingly easy to defend this leader. But that's gonna be more towards the end. So yeah, we've got that's like the main awakening engine there. It's pretty good. Then let's talk about the Kamehas. We all know what Earth Destroying Kamehameha does. 15. You can activate it from hand with your Z leader because of the ruling that Fash came up with not too long ago as part of the set. Plus 15. Random discard. I hate random discards. It feels like I have fun playing the deck. But when I play, like, I noticed that this like style of play is not fun for your opponent to go up against. I hate random discards. I mean, look, I played against my boy Eric on Sunday. He's playing Vegito. He played Hyper Rush. Out of 17 freaking cards, he like discarded my SCR. It's whatever, man. I hate random discards. But anyway, Cell's full power. This card is really good. So I think this has to be a 4-4 split. You cannot go any lower because you may use a couple before your last Awaken, and once you're on your last Awaken, you're going to be able to use them for free. So if you don't have them, it's going to feel really bad. This guy's amazing. One thing to note that I didn't note for the longest time, because we all know Dragon Ball players can't read. You have to be a Zealot for this, it's not huge, not like game changing. But on that one turn, you have to defend your 10k leader. Can't use this, okay? But it replaces itself, and then it's either a plus 15, you blink a keyword on something, which is busted as fuck. And then I haven't used this effect yet, but it is really good. It is extremely useful if it has to come in. You just KO something, not ignoring barrier. Really good effects. Like, this card is fantastic. Then we've got Pursuit of Despair. I guess I mean this is another 15k extra card. So total you have about a fifth of your deck. Yeah, fifth of your deck. I can do math somewhat. It's 15k combos. So Beers destroys. Well, that's not Beers, obviously, because that's Champa. But basically, in defense, this is a plus 15, and they choose their. You can make them discard, and they choose. And then on your turn, it removes something, which is it's good. It's a good card. This will be good at 2. I don't want to put any more or any less of it. But yeah, like 10 of your cards in the deck are 15k combos, bro. Like, and you have a 20k Z leader at the end. That's just like, how are you getting through that? So then we've got some of these more offensive cards. Pursuit of Despair. This card is really good, actually. This card is fantastic. Um, I thought it was just kind of average. I mean, when you read it, it doesn't do very much. But for this deck specifically, when you're ready to like turn on your opponent and just randomly like hit them, you pay 2 for this on like turn 4, even turn 3 if you have to. This card is just, well, you have to go second, of course. But so let's just say turn 4. Paying 2 for this on turn 4, this card is amazing, fantastic. 30 double, 15-15. You just pump like four damage out of nowhere. And your opponent probably isn't expecting it because they're expecting this deck to be defensive, and it is. It should be, but you have to kill your opponent eventually, right? So for my super combo, um, this started as 2 of this, 2 bionic. It went to 3 of this, 1 bionic. Now we're just at 4 of this because untapping is really strong. We have a lot of like 1 energy cards. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have to say much more than that. It's just like red blue beers. You untap a blue green when you combo it on your opponent's turn. Enables everything. I mean, what? I again against my boy Eric on Vegito, he played Potara, the SCR, tapped all my energy out, drew 4 cards, swings, combos out to 80. I just go super combo, Senzu Bean, and then just combo out of 80 with an energy still standing. Like, it's just disgusting, bro. Like, you got like I said, you guys have to see this deck work to like really understand it. One Bad Omen. We all know what Bad Omen does. I hate this card. Everybody hates this card. It's super cheese, but it's a one of. It's really good. Yeah, it pretty much always wins me the game when I have it in hand. I just play for it. It's really easy too. Just burn. It's not much more. It doesn't matter. You don't have to charge it. If I see it early, I'll charge it. If I don't, I'll just keep it in hand. Then we've got a check land. Check land. That's it. Talked about 17. Infernal Villainy. It's a green android. We played in this deck. Pay 1, draw 1. It's just good. That's it. Talked about Cell. Bean. It's Bean. Come on. We don't have to talk about it. So, this is the reason we don't run Ginger Town, of course, just to play a couple negates. I'm thinking about putting this at 3. I had it at 3 before, but like this deck actually draws quite a bit, and you're not gonna need actual negates until later in the game. Your defense is extremely strong, and I noticed that you only really want hard negates to. It's like in the late game when you really have to like hard stop something. Like there's something you just really don't want to deal with. I mean, I know what happened in that game, but I'll just bring it up again. Like against Vegito, like both games specifically, as you might notice, this deck doesn't really deal too easily with barrier. You can use like max this Kamehameha to blank their barrier and then KO it with like your Z leader swing, but it's not easy to deal with barrier in this deck. So, but even then, I was still out comboing a lot of them. So they sat on board for like a couple turns, like those big A drop deflect, the one for Trunks, the blue one, triple strike. It sat there for like 2 turns, and I still out comboed it like every time. So like this deck is incredibly tanky, and you don't really need hard negates, but you do want them. Like for that couple times where you actually don't want to deal with something, they're really good for that. They're really good for like sealing the game. It's almost like an SCR. You just use them, and then you're like, I win. Then we've got Vital Teamwork. Yeah, again, I don't need to talk about clones. I really don't even have to talk about this. It's just really good. Like, these are really staple cards that have risen up to popularity. Everyone should know what it does. Negate, kill, 4 loss. Homicidal, token negate. Then we've got Vital Teamwork. This card is really good. Now, I don't play it very often, and maybe I should be playing, like, Dr. Giro more often as a Z card to, like, enable this. But this card, when it comes in, it's fantastic. The first auto is irrelevant. Don't even read that. Our leader's not a Green Sangoku GT, obviously. But it's deflect duel for 20, play for 2 when you have a green Z battle in play. Well, the energy requirements are relevant, but when this attacks, you either just nuke a unison or they just discard, which obviously you like this deck doing. You want your opponent to discard. It's just fantastic. I mean, again, like Cell and Vital Teamwork don't regularly read like insane cards, but when you use this deck properly, like these can seal games. They're extremely good. Now we talked about this. Now let's talk about Limitless Energy. Rip the Goat Gamma. But this card is still really good in other blue-green decks. This card is fantastic. And I kind of forgot about it, honestly. But my dad is the one that kind of put this in his deck, and I think it's valid. I think it's really good. Just these 2 energy play cards are extremely good. It's another deflect duel. Obviously, you don't get to negate energy exhaust, but that doesn't matter. You remove something, which, like, this deck doesn't struggle with removal once you hit, like, your reset and last see later, but before then, it could get a little iffy, especially without Ginger Town. That is the one thing I don't like about not having Ginger Town. But yeah, you just pay 2, play it from hand. Really good. Like, most of us know what this card does, really. And then finally, for SCR, I was playing 21. That card is really good. But honestly, I haven't found myself, like, playing it recently. Like, on Sunday, again, when I played against Vegito, he ripped it out of my hand. That was, like, the only game I was really considering playing it in. But even then, I would have only healed 1. I don't know if it would have been worth. Maybe against Vegeta, because they can't really... Well, his leader does. But I haven't found myself playing 21 that much anymore without Ginger Town, because with Ginger Town, even after the second Z leader, you have tokens on board to suck up and heal 2 and still have the 40k duel. But I haven't been playing it very much, so I just switched to Vermilion. Uh, it serves mostly the same purpose, really, and it could do a little bit more. Well, not more. I mean, 21 wipes everything, but it can do about the same. If people have like annoying barrier boards, this will most likely clear all of it, and it'll give you like a huge bean effect, which is really strong to have this and 4 beans in the deck. So yeah, this is really good. And then, so yeah, that's the main deck. Again, there's no win con. You haven't heard me say, oh, this card like wins. You heard me say Cell might win you the game, Vital Teamwork might win you the game. You don't really win the game with anything. So again, the thing with this deck is I have, like I said, 10, 15k combos. So what happens with this deck, which is really curious, and this is like something I really like. Decks that are like this, malleable, flexible, they don't like have one, they're not telegraphed, they're not predictable. I have 10, 15k combos in my deck. Even if someone swings like something really high above me, like, I don't know, an SCR, 40k, even if they combo out, again, I have untap. I have 8 untaps. I have 10, 15Ks. I have some 10Ks. It's really hard to get through this deck. It really is. And I think that is fantastic. There's no your win con is gassing your opponent out, basically. What ends up happening is that your opponent uses so many resources trying to kill you that then they don't have too many. And then after that is when you might start using these as well. Or maybe they don't hit as high of a combo number when they go in because you discarded like 1 or 2 cards from them, plus like whatever you did off of this guy. So your opponent just ends up running out of resources straight up. And then you have enough clapback to come at them like just little by little, slowly, 3 to 4 life. A lot of people will end up getting themselves down to that 3 to 4 life, and even if they don't, if you play correctly, I think you can still prevail. But yeah, there's no like one win con. And again, in a future video, I'll have some gameplay of this deck so that you guys can really see and understand how this deck really works, right? But let's finish out. Let's talk about the Z deck here, right? So we've got so finally let's talk about the Z leader chain. It's really simple. It has a lot of text, as green tends to do. I mean, not only did we have a field, but we have a whole fucking chain of 3 Z leaders for this deck. So here's the first one. Again, you remember that you cannot go into this guy until you absorb both 17 and 18 under the regular leader, which is 2 swings. And then you pay 1 and 1. Very cheap, very simple, goes on top. You Z-stack the other 2. This guy is normally not relevant ever. Like, it's just super simple. It's just draw one. But here's the thing. Um, Once you're at 3 and you take damage after 3, so you go to 2, let's say, you play the 18 from under again. So technically, your entire awaken sequence was discard 1, draw 2. So you went +2 and they went -1, which is pretty solid in the end. You play the 18 on their board and then you put the next guy. You put this guy on top, about to explode. Uh, he can't attack, irrelevant. So basically, this is a big wall of text to say that if this guy is under, when you go to 0, instead of losing, you nuke your opponent's board, not ignoring barrier but including unisons, kill everything, and set 2 from the top of your deck into your life. And this will happen no matter what, because at the beginning of your turn, you do it. And then you go into this guy. This guy's real strong. This guy's real strong. 20k base, goes to 25 whenever it's played. Attack, draw 1, KO anything, not ignoring barrier. That shit is busted. And then, yep, you activate battle once per turn. You just activate one of these for free. Yeah, just 50k combo for free. So you just go to 35 for free. For free.
It's free real estate.
It's really good. It's really good. This Z change sequence is really good. People will say, "Oh, just play around it, make them play awkward, try to kill them." So because there's a ruling right now, because so when strike skills do damage to you, they're put on the player, not like on the cards. So basically, if you're at 1 with this and you get triple struck, the damage carries over and you lose. Basically, damage done to this that would carry over into the next 2 life that you put down when you go to this guy is going to carry over. You're at 1, take 2 damage, you go to 1 on this guy. You are at 1 and take 3 damage, you lose. You're at 2, you take 3 damage, you go to 1. Just for examples. But people will say, oh, just, do that. And I'm like, sure, but I'm also trying to play around that, right? So I can blank your strike skills. I can have a couple negates to make you play awkward. So basically, I'll try to stay this for the longest possible time, mainly so that I can do the last guy on my turn and have a 25k swing. But it also makes your opponent play very awkwardly because obviously you have to kill me twice, basically, right? So, and I'm going to nuke your board in the process. So I'm trying to make it as awkward as possible for you so that you have to pass to me and you can't kill me. And then all of a sudden, I'm on a 20k leader with like 5 energy up, 15 cards in hand, and you can't do shit to me anymore. That's really good. We've got 2 Garous, mostly for Awakening. The reason I have 2 is for a very specific reason that I'm not going to say because I don't want people annoying me. I really don't want to say it. There's a certain thing you can do to this deck to very annoy it. Let's put it that way. It can be really annoying and it can force me to play this. That should give you a clue. But Juro is really good. Like we said, it enables vital teamwork. Juro is just good, man. In control matchups, for example, let's say you're playing against, I don't know, Beerus, you're at 4, they can't hit you from 4, and they're not going to. You pay 1 for Juro, go to 3, and then you can actually pay 2 to awaken at 3, straight to this guy. So there is an alternative for control matchups. But that's it basically for just the main deck, the entire deck. It's just so good, man. Like I can hype this deck up all day, really. Then we'll quickly talk about the side. I've already taken up quite a bit of time here, but okay, so these choices are pretty simple. The side deck's really easy to explain. We'll just go over Dormant first. Dormant and then Frieza. Dormant aggro really sucks for this deck. Really sucks for this deck. I even cited this with Gingertown and I just refused to play Cells until I like got to my Z later, really. We all know what Dormant does, we know why it's in here, but it's just a stunt aggro because it really fucking hurts this deck. Really badly. Same thing for Unison and Malice. Unison and Malice is actually like arguably better than Dormant because you might not even be able to swing at all under this card. If you have a Bleeder and a Unison swing, I might still just Dormant anyway. But, yeah, you can read it here. Opponent can't swing unless they sack a battle card, basically. It's really strong. We've got an extra cell for unisons. Pretty simple. Frostly Poison. Well, I should talk about this before. So this is green yellow check land. It just comes down basically. I mean, you can see it there. Pause it really quick, but it comes down. It's also a free combo. This is a successor package. It's really small right now. It's at 6. I had it at 9, 3 of each. But I only need to see it by turn like 4 or 5. Basically, this guy will play that 2-drop 17 and 18 on my opponent's board, increase their cost to 3. So off of this guy alone, I have 9 for Unthinkable. Unthinkable is broken as hell. Look at your opponent's hand, take any 3 battle cards, include it. You take their SCR, and then you turn off their leader, which is not really relevant, but it could be in very, very specific cases. But it's just to look at hand and control matchups. So then Frostly Poison is for like big, annoying, not deflect cards like Golden Cooler, SCR. Now, I can deal with Golden Cooler. With this, I can blank its barrier and then choose to die. And then Cooler dies, right? So my opponent has to like try to kill me before they kill me again with Cooler. But yeah, this is mostly for Cooler. I don't want to have to deal with it at all, and I have the option to with this. So I might as well, right? But yeah, this will hit any big, annoying deflect card that you don't want to deal with. It's pretty easy. Like, I don't know, if Invoker comes back, fucking Apex. Although they will see your hand before, but yeah, this is the deck. I mean, yeah, you know, like once we got to certain cards, we didn't have to explain anymore. But this is a deck. It looks simple. You know, you might be looking at this and thinking it's weird. Frankly, it is pretty weird. But if you decide to build this deck on, you know, on tap IRL, you're interested in playing this deck. Again, I literally only started playing this deck because I just wanted to see what it did. I wanted to see what happened to it after the errata. And I quickly realized that it's just, oh my god. I'm honestly willing to say that this deck is disgusting. It'll never hit like tier 1, tier 1.5 levels because people are just not going to play this deck. I'll say that right now. I still don't think people might have the aptitude or skill to play this deck. It is hard to sequence and you have to know what you're sitting across to really know what to be doing. But it is very strong. I would not be surprised at all if, because I can't play it, I'm judging this year. I would not be surprised at all if somebody showed up with Cell and top defense with it, and it started showing up in Top Guts. This deck has thoroughly and completely surprised me. I could just say that for the next 10 minutes. I really could. It's amazing, and I will really try to put some gameplay down for you guys with this. Again, I play those webcams. I've been trying to figure out my camera setup and stuff out, and you know, as you can tell from this video, I have a new microphone that sounds excellent. Very happy with it, but yeah, that's it, guys. I'll try after this, after I sign off, I'll try to have a quick sequence in this video for you guys, and yeah, I hope you guys understood a little bit more about this deck. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and with that, I'll sign off here. Take care, everybody.